Hi, today's good person to know is Mike Howe, co-founder of Escape the City, a job site where members can communicate with other like-minded individuals who want to escape from the hassles and bustles of city life. Just to give you some background into Mike, he went to university. He worked as an economist at the Foreign Office and then he went into banking. He did all the things that other people wanted him to do, but not what he wanted to do. So he spent his days feeling miserable and spent large quantities of time frequenting the gents. The loo, where he would spend 20 minutes each time playing games on his smartphone. He started Escape the City with two other people, his friends, because they felt exactly the same way as he did. They wanted a more meaningful, fulfilling job, so effectively they took their problem and they turned it into a business. Now you think that Mike and his co-founders, being in cushy jobs, would have had lots of money between them, but they didn't. Mike had debts. He had to live on £10 a day and move back in with his parents. But he didn't quit his job without knowing what he wanted to do next. In fact, Mike and his team started a blogging site just so that they could find out if there was any traction, any interest, and they got a following. So they knew they were heading in the right direction. Mike hasn't looked back. He doesn't regret his decision to quit his job, and now he works harder than ever, 7 days a week. And he says he absolutely enjoys it. He's really excited about it, and he covers how they built a website, the pros and cons of running a business, and how they managed to get clients and traction. This is a really cool video for anyone thinking about whether or not they should start a business or not, or if they've got it, what it takes to do it. So I hope you enjoy it. I really love the fact that Mike and his co-founders started a business to escape the city, and now they're helping thousands of other people do exactly that. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching.
I studied economics at university, and I studied it because I was sort of told that that was a sensible thing to do. Started out working in London, I guess, as an economist for the Foreign Office, then went into banking. I did it for 4 years, really didn't like it, really wasn't very good at it. I was going to the toilet every day, and as you do, and I'd sit there for iPhones had just sort of come out, and I'd sort of sit there playing Doodle Jump for 20 minutes at a time. And I do that 10 times a day. And I'd been told to do all these things my whole life. I jumped through all these hoops, and I'd done everything that everyone had told me to do. And it turned out that all the things that people were telling me to do weren't the things that I wanted to do. So I thought, well, I'd love to start something. I felt like I was probably a more creative person. Maybe I should be doing something, I don't know, in marketing. I wanted something else. So started a company with a couple of other friends called Escape City, which is a company which sort of helps people leave their jobs to find more fulfilling careers. So we built our own company to solve our own problem. When I finally quit to start what we were doing, I had debts, I didn't have loads of money. I was already sort of in a bad place. I wasn't leaving a good job that was giving me loads of money because I still didn't have any. I was living on £10 a day. I ended up moving back in with my parents. We'd started it before I'd quit. We'd already got the ball rolling. We'd started a blog. We were building up a following of members to our site, and we'd already really got going. We built enough traction. We had enough people coming to our site and gave us a sense that things were going somewhere. I have to admit, I've never regretted leaving my job and starting what we're doing now. But I think I'm fortunate that I've started it with two partners that I get on extremely well with, and we always have gotten very well. And we've stuck with it, and whenever we've had a down moment, it's never been about regretting what we've been doing because we've always been together. So now I work infinitely harder. I'll work 7 days a week for as long as it takes. But I enjoy doing it. We basically got a guy who farmed his development work out to basically university student developers. We spent £5,000, got our first site up after we'd already got some traction using using a blog and Facebook page. Got this site up, and then post that, we spent 25 grand at a really expensive agency to get another site up, another mistake. And the new site had less functionality than the first site, which was built by all the students. And so yeah, that's 2 mistakes in a row. And then, anyway, that's about 2 years or 18 months of work right there. Nowadays, you could basically buy what we had after our second year for like $60 from WordPress, like a WordPress template. Going back in time, WordPress, or nowadays Strikingly, or GA course, Build Your Own Site, or Steer, or any of the other ones, or Code Academy, or Treehouse. Wish all those things were bigger at the time, or we knew about them more. That was kind of how we started. But I've now done my own front-end development course, and I wish I'd done that a long time ago. The bigger thing is that, because running a business kind of does take over your life, as soon as something else in your life becomes really difficult, then it becomes really hard to balance the responsibility. I find it difficult to shut down ever, work-wise, and that does have an impact on other things. We had this sort of chicken and egg scenario, like we were essentially building a job site, right? So if you want to build a job site, like how do you get the companies to post jobs on your site if you don't have any sort of members or an audience actually looking at those jobs? So you're like, oh, well, where do we start? Do we sort of get loads of people, or which way around do we do it? So we kind of always assumed we would make the money through kind of like some sort of recruitment fee, whether it was a job posting fee or whether it was like a headhunting fee, we weren't quite sure. So we sort of started out by basically just stealing jobs all over the world. So we'd go around, we'd find the coolest companies, we basically do the hard work that people would have to do if they wanted to find a cool company to work for. So we did all that work for people, found all the jobs at all the cool companies, all the tech companies, all the startup companies, all the social enterprises, all the really exciting and different companies. Stole all their jobs, put them on our site, looked like we had loads of content, people started coming to us, and then eventually those companies were like, hey, we filled some jobs through you guys. How much does it cost to post a job? And we're like talking to each other, how much does it cost to post a job? And so we're just like throwing numbers at people, and they're like, oh, how do I pay you? And you're like, oh, how do they pay us? So, you know, it's just kind of like, we had to figure it out. I remember when we were pitching to VCs, you know, we had like over 2 years of traction. Like it was solid. You know, we worked our guts out to like get money and make sales.